Welcome to your Daily 5 for Wednesday, April 16th, 2025. At this point, virtually every social media platform that you could possibly be on probably has a number of accounts that really just exist to highlight cool pieces of media. So they may show artwork that they really like, or great clips from old cartoons like the old Superman cartoons, or, and I think almost every platform has one of these, or several. In my case, I follow a lot that send clips out or post clips out from anime series, shows, whatever, that are just awesome images. Probably the most instantly recognizable one is the bike slide from Akira that most people have seen some variation of. And so there's accounts that just send out these little clips like that. And I love all that stuff because many times it's just great to be reminded of a great scene from one of these shows or these series. And also, once in a while, I discover something or rediscover something that I either had skipped over when I was younger or just never bothered with. And that happened when an account that I follow over on Blue Sky posted this image of a woman firing a gun down a hallway, this sci-fi gun, and it was just a really neat shot. And in the alt text it said, excerpt from Silent Möbius. And I remember Silent Möbius from when I was younger. I thought it was a really cool name, but I never bothered to get into it because it's essentially a world where science fiction and magic coexist. And when I was younger, I just wasn't into that idea. I was far more on the sci-fi side than the magic side. And so I just skipped over it. I always thought the name was great, but I never actually watched any of it. The TV show, from what I understand, is not that good. I'm not going to bother to watch that probably, but I did watch. They're not easy to watch. I actually had to VPN to a French video service to watch the second one. First one's easy to watch. Second one isn't. Some cases they're combined, but I was not able to find one of those online or anywhere even to rent. But I watched Silent Möbius 1 and 2 from 1991 and 1992. And I gotta tell you, I'm feeling really dumb that I skipped this when I was younger because I thought these movies were a blast. The animation style is great. I love the costume designs and some of the vehicle designs. The world feels really interesting. A lot of people have said, oh, it's basically inspired by Blade Runner. And certainly you can see that, but it's not like it's a Blade Runner ripoff. This is really its own thing. I like the characters. It's about an all-female, basically magic police squad, which I like. They're all women who have very distinct personalities. There's no romance subplots. There's no nonsense, which at the time there could easily have been stuff that you'd watch today and go, ooh, that didn't age well, but there really isn't any of that. It's a very mature story, and it's an interesting storytelling setup where the movies are essentially bookended by the current version of a character. And the closest analog I could think to kind of compare is, if you remember the first Matrix movie, the movie ends where Neo basically makes the phone call, gets out of the phone booth, and flies off into the air. And honestly, if they'd never made any more movies, a lot of people will say, well, that's the end of it for me. They just made one great movie and I stopped there. I don't agree with that, but you could have stopped there. But imagine that the beginning of The Matrix was in fact a 5 or 6 minute scene where Neo did something, had a great, awesome fight against all these agents, and then it flashed back to show you how he got there. That's what Silent Möbius is. We start off with this character who clearly is the most talented of the group, and there's a moment where there's an explosion, and that explosion throws us into the flashback, and we see how she got to be on this squad. And then at the end of the second movie, we've essentially come back to this first scene in the first movie. I think it works really well. I think that the actual story of the character is told generally pretty effectively. The only thing is she screams a lot. Just if you watch this with headphones, you're going to have to turn them down a bit because she does scream a lot. But I really like the dynamics between the team. I think the enemies are gross and weird and interesting. There's a lot of kind of a mix of every type of religious thing there is. It's all kind of jumbled together as general magic, to my mind anyway, the way the movies deploy it. And it's just a really fun, for a 2-hour roughly set of movies, it flies by. And I think it's largely really good. I feel like a moron for not watching this when I was younger because I think the animation, it's not Akira or Ghost in the Shell level. There's so few things that are that good, but it's fairly close. It's stylized in a way that I feel like is distinctive. It's, again, the total sum of this thing is that it's much better than I was really expecting it to be because I'd skipped it before and just kind of didn't think the subject matter might work. So again, if you can watch it, the only thing is it's tough to find it, but you can. Silent Möbius 1 and 2, if you skipped over them or never bothered with them, make the time because in the end, they are really, really good. Later.